Randy's Random Rants.
Investigators asked coroners to check Marcial's clothes for similar traces of blood spatter.
Marcial had no blood from Linda on him at all.
If Derrick has blood splatter on his clothing and Marcel has none, that points Derrick as the murderer.
But even if Derrick Yancey did kill his wife, investigators still can't figure out how Marcial cash flow factors into the scene. Again, the coroner's report offers a chilling answer.
The gun was found in Marcial's left hand, but we discovered from the friend that Marcial was right-handed.
The fact that the gun was found in the left hand of a right-handed shooter suggests Derrick planted the gun on Marcial after killing him, which suggests that Derrick was setting up Marcial to take the fall for the crime all along.
Man, how much
Marcial
bad luck do you got?
Plucked off the street
Out
for the purpose
of two hands,
of
he
dying
picks the wrong
to
hand.
give this defendant an alibi. And that's the only reason.
It's almost sickening to think that this man would kill his wife of over 18 years and then pin it on somebody else.
I thought that was heartless, and so cold-blooded.
On August 14th, 2008, DeKalb County authorities issue a warrant for the arrest of Derrick Yancey. Upon learning of the warrant through his attorney, Derrick dropped his sons off with their grandparents and then turned himself in. It doesn't take long for the news of Derrick's arrest to echo across the community. No one is more taken aback than Derrick and Linda's friends.
The blood splatter, the ballistics, the positioning of the bodies, just the whole crime scene, the staging of it. I was shocked.
Even more shocking to the Yancey's friends is Derrick's apparent motive. That he was so desperate to maintain the facade of a perfect suburban life that he decided to murder his beloved high school sweetheart and the mother of his two cherished children rather than face the public humiliation of divorce.
I just couldn't believe he would take her life like that.
Despite the evidence against him, Derrick pleads not guilty. And at his bond hearing, Derrick's years of exemplary service leads the judge to give him an unexpected break.
The judge knew it, so she gave him a bond. And she gave him, home arrest.
Wasn't real pleased about that. I would have preferred him to remain locked up, but it was just temporary.
Derrick's house arrest comes with one condition. He must wear an electronic ankle bracelet that monitors his every move. Over the next 6 months, Derrick abides by the DA's office receives an alert that Derrick's LoJack device has stopped responding. Sheriff's officers race to the Yancey's home. But by the time they arrive, their former colleague is nowhere to be found, although the ankle bracelet is.
He's managed to cut off the ankle bracelet and flee.
Detectives immediately began a statewide manhunt for Derrick Yancey. The only question now is, will police be able to track Derrick down before it's too late? Or will this deputy turned fugitive escape justice for good?
Well, obviously not if we see him sitting there in the courtroom.
We of the station's surveillance video and immediately hit pay dirt.
We have pictures or video of him actually getting on the bus.
The bus Derrick boarded was headed for Los Angeles, but surveillance video from the bus station in LA does not indicate Derrick ever made it to his final destination.
From that point forward, there's not a trace of Derrick Yancey.
But even with a nationwide manhunt underway, months pass with no new information. And while police continue to work the case, some begin to fear that Derrick Yancey has gotten away with murder.
To not knowing where he was hard. That would always keep anybody on edge.
Finally, in September of 2009, more than 6 months after Derrick fled, there's a break in the case.
Let's get it up.
Detectives receive a report that a man fitting Derrick's description has been spotted soaking up rays on the beach, but not in sunny LA or along the Georgia coast. Rather in a town called Punta Gorda, a tropical seaside resort in the Central American country of Belize.
I was shocked.
Belize?
I really didn't believe that he had made it that far.
Wow.
Sheriff's officers reach out to the U.S. State Department and local authorities in Punta Gorda, Belize. Finally, on September 19th, 2009, a team of Punta Gorda police surround Derrick Yancey at a beachside bar.
Their police department walked up to him and asked him, was he Derrick Yancey? And he knew then that it was time to go home.
I was very, very happy that he is finally going to be held accountable for his acts.
Derrick is immediately extradited back to Georgia and tossed in the DeKalb County Jail without bail. And 1 year later, on October 25th, 2010, the state of Georgia versus Derrick Yancey begins in front of a packed courtroom.
Man, you got
He
some
had
real,
committed double murder. If he
you
didn't
got some
change his
real
story
evil
every
out there,
minute, we had to
boy,
go to court.
sitting around just
In their
waiting.
opening statement, prosecutors assert that Derrick was a disgruntled husband on the brink of a divorce. Fearful that a split from Linda would shatter his well-crafted image as a wealthy, successful man.
These are the
Derrick
people
chose
that's
to
on your
concoct
police
an elaborate
force.
murder scheme
These are
rather
the
than
people
allow
you
them
come
to divorce
across, they're handing
Because
you
the
tickets and
image that
pulling
he
you
created for
over,
himself, we did not
telling you have a
believe
nice
would be
day.
acceptable to him to include divorce.
Prosecutors claim that on the morning of June 9th, 2008, Derrick put his plan into action. At 7:30 a.m., he drove to the local shopping center with the intention of picking up the perfect patsy.
They call it shopping for murder because of the way he went out and got Marcial.
Hey, you want to work?
Hiring Marcial under the guise that he needed help with yard work, Derrick drove Marcial back to the house and started him out on the lawnmower.
And we're just going to go back and forth, evenly back and forth like that. No round, just back
That's
and forth.
sad.
Okay, thank you.
That's really, really sad, bro.
While Marcial worked in the yard, Derrick headed inside where Linda was alone. Derrick then lured his wife to the basement under the pretense of needing help moving some boxes.
You talking about these boxes?
At the bottom of the stairs, Derrick pulled out his .38 caliber revolver and opened fire.
Wow.
He shot her 3 times. He then jammed the revolver into her chest, pulled the trigger, and blew her heart in half.
He stuck
We're
that gun
talking
to
about,
her chest. That was a shot of hate. It was a shot of anger.
for
resentment.
real,
After exchanging
betrayal,
his .38 for another gun
hate.
he owned, Derrick headed out to the front yard and initiated phase 2 of his plan. Like he had with Linda, Derrick lured Marcial to the basement.
I want you to help me come move these boxes.
Marcial walked in the door, walked around the pool table, saw Linda, stopped, turned to Derrick. Derrick's gun is out. He shot him 3 times.
Wow, that is so sad,
Once
yo.
Marcial was dead, Derrick scattered the stack of $100 bills to make it look like a robbery. Then Derrick planted the .38 he used
That
to
nigga
shoot
made it
Linda
rain
his
on him and shit.
unsuspecting father.
That's what you
Derrick
should have
put the
said.
gun in Marcial's left hand, caught his breath,
He made it rain
and
on
called
him
911.
as if it was a
But
robbery.
in their opening statement, the defense maintains that Derrick isn't a murderer. In fact, they claim he's a victim, just like he told his fellow police officers when they first arrived on the scene.
It's Linda. What's wrong with Linda?
She's been shot.
Where's she at? Where's she?
She's in the basement.
What are you doing? Give me the money.
Marcial tried to rob his wife. His wife was shot, and he then shot Marcial.
That's
The defense
unspeakable
also
evil.
argued that if Derrick was so worried about maintaining the illusion of wealth and success, wasn't a nasty divorce a little less embarrassing, less risky than the brutal murder of his beloved wife?
There's definitely questions in the prosecution's case.
Despite the mountain of physical evidence against Derrick Yancey, the defense seems to have successfully planted the seed of reasonable doubt. At least until prosecutors unveil a surprise witness and expose the true motive behind Linda Yancey's murder.
Yeah, that is a big cocktail of pure evil, hate, greed, selfish, calculating, thriving, lusting, filth. Like, that shit is just disgusting. For real. That's disgusting. For the people that come to America or go anywhere, but come to America causing problems and shit, man, like, I gotta say fuck you But for the people that come here and they're like innocent people trying to do for themselves or their family, man, I truly feel for you, bro. I'm yo, on behalf of everybody that is not an asshole, like, I really, really feel for you, and people that have to go through being taken advantage of because because somebody has the ability to take advantage of you, man. Like that guy, sometimes it's like you just can't. I don't want to say it's your time, but how the hell are you supposed to know? How the fuck was he supposed to know that some guy, some black guy, that white people don't even fucking like you, they'd lynch your ass in a tree, you're gonna come single him out, man, out of a pack and have him work in your yard and all that, and your whole idea was just to murder him? But there's many things that happen, many stories that are less or more complicated than that, bro, that like people that do not deserve what they get it, and it's really, really fucked up.
Facing off against his mother over the family's crumbling finances.
Were your parents having marital problems?
Yes, sir. How long? A lot.
He wasn't up there saying, my dad and I had great times and I love my dad. It was, my dad used to yell at my mom. My dad was scary sometimes.
It's stunning testimony that paints Derrick Yancey in an even more unflattering light. But is it enough to sway the jury?
You never know in these cases how a jury is going to go. It could go either way.
After 3 days of deliberation, the jury announces they've reached a decision.
The jury's verdict is as follows. We, the jury, find the defendant, Derrick Yancey, guilty.
It was guilty for 2 murders.
Motherfucker, where were you running to, nigga? Like, fuck that shit.
I was looking at him.
Where the
didn't change.
Where the fuck was you running to? That's all I'd have to ask.
He was guilty.
Where were you going?
Following
You were
the
gonna
verdict,
stay there
the judge
forever?
sentences Derrick to 2 life sentences. For those who knew Linda Yancey, the sentence brings some solace.
I didn't make an outward sound, but I was okay with it.
As Derrick is handcuffed and led away by the same deputies that he and his wife worked with for so many years, Linda's family can't help but feel a sense of justice.
It only seemed fitting for him to be led away by the same colleagues, that you served with every day
and
who
put
trusted you to
in there
uphold
with
the
the
law.
wolves that you threw in the
Even
fucking
so,
cage.
In the years since the murders, closure has been hard for Linda Yancey's friends and family to come by. Perhaps it's the fact that a marriage of 18 years ended so tragically. Or maybe it's the fact that DeKalb County lost one of its most beloved public servants to the hand of another. Or maybe it's just the fact that with 3 rounds from a .38 special, a man chose greed over the life of his beloved high school sweetheart, the mother of his 2 children.
That is the greatest tragedy out of this whole thing. Her children no longer have their mom, and I don't think it'll ever be the same.